and I facilitate the Texas Media Project along with other people here in the community. I'm going to introduce Patsy Robles and then Chuck Robinson and Hugh Henry. And then the two things that I had them give you I think are really, really important. I just wanted to make sure that you two knew that they are doing various community and media justice related work here in San Antonio, but the work is also being taken to the national level. Like, we are participating in policy work and legislation changes and anything else that we can get the community involved with outside of San Antonio. And Patsy and Chuck also recently testified at the FCC hearings in Austin. And this is also just something that's coming full circle. San Antonio has been working to testify and file their comments with the FCC since back in 2004. So I'm really glad that you came. I'm going to give Patsy a moment to touch bases about the effects of SB 5 and draw to this issue.
My name is Patsy Robles, and I'm a public access television producer here in San Antonio. And I also do video blogging. I have a couple of websites where I put up video and a blog. And basically, I've been involved in this issue for, I don't know, about a year due to a lot of my concern has always been youth and the images that are portrayed to them and the negative stereotypes and such. And how this plays into the media consolidation, I really do feel that the media consolidation is an undercurrent of all this, because basically, there's just a handful of media companies that own most of the television, radio stations, and newspapers. Clear Channel being the big flagship here in San Antonio that has over 1,200 radio stations, and GE, I believe, is the biggest owner of television, newspaper, radio stations. And how it affects us as a community is that basically you lose the independent voice in the community. One of the issues that we heard when we went up to Austin last month in September to the FCC hearing was that Austin basically has lost all of their Tejano radio stations, and they're actually driving people to listen to the Tejano radio station here in San Antonio, the KXTN, on 107.5. And I really thought that was a sad event, and there was definitely a big concern about that at the FCC hearing. I had gone on the issue of public access because I am a public access producer, and we had lost the public access channel for 7 months in 2006 due to the Senate Bill 5 being passed, which has a provision there that is now being termed as the Public Utilities Code 66, which has basically totally revamped public access television, including the governmental and the educational channel. And basically the city seems to be at a loss at knowing what to do. We did manage to get the public access channel back up in July, but we did lose everything we had. We lost the studio, we lost the equipment, we lost the staff. We lost pretty much any kind of support system that was there. So the public access producers came together to try to help each other out and to push to get more things. And basically, we have a channel, we have broadcasting equipment, there's 3 cameras, there's 1 DVD burner, but really that's not enough. And what we've been finding since then is that so little has been done, and the city has been receiving quarterly payments of $426,000 from Time Warner alone, and AT&T had given them $415,000, which is supposed to be to fund PEG. And right now we're in the middle of trying to find out exactly where that money is at, because they certainly haven't used it on any of the public access channel stuff. That's a lot of money, and we as producers want to make sure that that money is accounted for and that it is used for what it was supposed to be used, which is to fund local programming here in San Antonio, because we're the only local voices in San Antonio. You're not going to see a lot of local people on TV here in San Antonio. The cable channels is on a national level. It's all generic, vanilla. What you see in LA, you see in New York, you see in Dallas. It's the same thing. So public access is really one of the only little things we have left where you can actually see local people on television talking about interests they have, issues they have, interviewing politicians during election time, etc. So we are going through that, we did go to the FCC with that same issue because now we're concerned that on the local level that we're basically being brushed aside and that we're not a real important issue to them. And I do feel that it is an important issue. It's a very, very important issue, and I do believe the FCC sees it as a very important issue. So we want to make sure that further media consolidation does not happen, because we already are seeing the negative effects of all that. It's really, really affecting us. It affects newsrooms. You know, newsrooms are being consolidated across the country, and you have less and less reporters covering local issues. You have people who are not qualified. For instance, I heard yesterday Ann Toback at the FCC hearing. I put up one of her videos on my website, and she specified how graphic artists are doing fact-checking for newsrooms. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm not a news reporter, but I do know that there's something wrong with that picture. So this is why I want to bring that to everyone's attention, because if further media consolidation happens, things are going to go from what they call Guatemala to Guatepeor, from bad to worse. And we really, really want to put a stop to it. And it really affects everybody. It affects everybody who watches TV, who listens to the radio, who reads the newspaper, who works for any kind of a radio, TV, newspaper. You know, and we need to keep the independent voices, and especially, you know, the minority picture to be in there too. So it's not just all one vanilla, you know, program that you're hearing across the United States. I know when I hear the news, it's like you hear 5 minutes of news, and you hear those same 5 minutes of news on the radio, TV, all day long, as if that's the only thing that's happening in the world. So I also think that there's something very wrong with that picture.